Sanam, aloha, everybody. Welcome to the live stream. And it looks like I'm live. Okay, so today I wanted to talk about the South Node. I wanted to talk about this week's chart. So there's no new moon or full moon. Sanam, aloha, everybody. Full moon transits happening. So, but there's lots to talk about in the chart. So if you could put down your human design type, if you know it, and your astro information, if you feel called, and you can always go down into the information box. It's right there right now, and you can get your free chart. Okay. So this is the transit chart. And right now, the neutrino stream, these are all the little microscopic neutrinos. 70% of them are coming from the sun, and they're bombarding the earth. And what's the shadow here is inadequacy. Inadequacy, that's this 4 here. Right here, the shadow of inadequacy. And there it's coming off the spleen. This is where all our fears come from, the splenic awareness system here. So not feeling like you're up for the job. Maybe you're not feeling resourceful. And in this particular video is all about the fear of money. So if you're having prosperity issues, you can put that down in the comments, and you're feeling like your resources aren't there, put that down. And I think that's a common thing right now that we're experiencing on the globe. Okay, but the 48, just quickly, because this video is not just about the 48. The 48's all about your own inner resources, tapping into your own inner resources, right? Because everything on the external is just a reflection of your internal. So if you're feeling lack and you're feeling inadequate, you're not good enough, those types of feelings, and that's going to express itself on the external for you, right? But remember that the resources are they're inner resources that you have to tap into. So just remember that all the answers are inside you. Remember I talked about the Aquarian teacher and the Piscean teacher. Aquarian teachers always pointing you back inside yourself, right? And this is the divine feminine. This is the divine feminine energy. Okay, so today I wanted to talk about, we've got the 4629. So this is the G center, sense of love and direction, and then the sacral, so life force energy. And we've got the 46 in Mercury, and it's activating, Venus and Mercury are activating this channel. Not for very long, just the end of this week. And this is the channel of discovery. So it's about just surrendering to your experience, whatever your experience is right now. Don't try to figure out, like, why is this happening to me? How do I get out of it? This experience, this is the channel of discovery. And it means that I'm just going to surrender to the experience. And then I get the insight at the end. I get the insight at the end, not in the middle. Okay. So that's a global transit. And then if you have this natally, you know all about this channel, that you're never going to figure it out in the middle. And if you try to take exit stage left, I don't like this experience, I don't like this relationship or whatever, the universe will just go and recreate the same experience, different names, different bodies, different on the external, but it's the same lesson. So you're just going to be in Groundhog Day, right? If you try to exit that too soon. Okay, so let's talk about the South Node right here and the North Node, the 32 and the 42. So 32 is coming off the spleen, and then the 42 is off the sacral. So South Node is what we're letting go of around the globe, because this is natal. Maybe you have this natally, but this is a global transit, right? So letting go of this 32 and then embracing the 42. Okay, so this is tribal consciousness, right? This is tribal consciousness, and this is collective. Okay. So interestingly enough, because I'm doing a webinar series on the cross of the sleeping phoenix. This is the new global cycle that's coming in 2027 till 2438. And it's a survival guide. Okay, so I've been going deep in the research of this, and this is information that's not available on the internet, and I'm putting it all together, and we'll have meditations, and lots of content. So you've got your this is the mandala, right, around this chart. This is a chart, a natal chart. So yours will look like this, and then this is the mandala. So we've got our global transits that we're in right now, but we also have these greater transits that are connected to the precession of the equinox, right? Precession of the equinox here. And so the cross of planning, this is what we're letting go of from 1615 to 2027. That's why we're seeing everything that's going on out in the world, the craziness, the clown show, right? The circus tents are coming down now. It's because we're moving out of this cycle. And this is like, we can't control this. This is the neutrino stream bombarding us with information. And it's going to motivate how humanity is basically programmed, right, to operate. So the precession of the equinox, right, with the cross of the planning. Remember I talked about the 30, right? The 37 and the 40, and then 16 and the 9. Well, there's other elements to this too that I haven't really talked about before. So one of them is the 32. And isn't that interesting? We're in these nodes now. This is the south node right now, and then the north node. So this has been part of the cross of planning that we've been in that's ending. And this is fear of failure, because that's the shadow of the 32. Fear of failure, failure of the body, failing to keep the body alive. I'm really simplifying. And then this growth, this 42 is growth. It's the gate of increase, and it's the growth of universal love. It's the love of self that we've been working on, and in the cross of planning too. But we're letting this go. This one right here, you want to be letting this go and then embracing this, right? This 42, and the 25 is connected to it. Okay, so let's go through this a little bit. And the other thing too that I found really fascinating was in terms of what's going on in the chart right now, because we've got how many more years? Four more years, is the personality, right? The personality and the precession of the equinox in 1961, this 1961, it moved, the sun moved into the 37.1, and that's up here, right? Right here. And I've talked about this before. And then in 2027, February, it's going to move into the 55, the 55.6. And look at Saturn's in there right now, the 55.2. So this is going to radically change how we are, and we'll see it like across the globe. We'll see this new theme, right? These are themes that will play out in the world. Okay, so letting go. This is what we have to let go of. So fear of failure of the body. So that means that the ultimate failure is I can't even keep this body alive, right? That's in terms of our ancestral fears, because this is ancestors. I can't even keep my physical body alive. So it makes you conserve resources, right? So this is all the money, clinging to money that we're seeing on the planet right now. I'm seeing it all over the island, and people that I talk to, like, people are so tight with their money right now because they're under this spell, right, of this shadow. And it's the fear of failure. That's what it really is, the fear of failure. Penny pinching, right? And that money is my God, which is basically money will save me. As long as I have hoard my money, I'll be okay as I go through this new cycle. Because deep down, we all know on an unconscious level that we're going through massive change, right? And the 32 knows this, that we're going through massive change. And don't change, right? The 32 doesn't want you to change. This is ancestral fear. Like just hold on to what you got and weather the storm and you'll be okay. And this is not the way to go right now. The South Node is saying, let this go. And this is tribal. So it's the bargain, right? It's the bargain. So what do we want to embrace? I'll go back to this. We want to embrace growth. So we want to embrace new experiences, right? So this is collective. The 42 is collective. So here's what you want to focus on now until January. Growth, your growth of universal love. So being that conduit for universal love. There's no hoarding with the 42. The love of self, loving yourself, right? Really, really key right now. And we have a window, and the window closes in 2027. I'm really getting that with my research. That window closes for 2027 to really be your authentic self. This is the time to do it. This is the time, the potential, your best incarnation ever for awakening, like right now until 2027. So loving yourself, being that conduit for universal love, detachment. The 42, the gift of the 42 is detachment, which means don't take things personally. Don't take your life so personally. And it's collective and it's about sharing. It's not about hoarding. It's about sharing, 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 and embracing new experiences, right? This 32 does not want you to embrace new experiences. The tribe is all about like, let's never change. Never change, right? And that's not, this tribal consciousness is being absorbed by collective consciousness now, right? So it's about letting go. And these patterns are deep, deep, deep within our DNA, our ancestors. Okay, so let's go into this little fear of failure. So what is failure? So you know what to look for and what, what is failure? What is failure? Well, we live on a plane of duality, don't we? There's a polarity. So of course, there has to be the opposite. So there's success and failure. And in our world, and this comes from tribal consciousness, it was about how much money we have, how much material resources have we accumulated. And this became our symbol of success as an adult, right? This is our adult version of success. And then the opposite of that is failure, So this is in terms of the 32, right? So we have to go back to our early conditioning, right? So right away, go to school, kindergarten, school, or educational system. We started to be judged, didn't we? We were judged by how well we did in school. We passed or we failed, right? We failed. And there was such a stigma to that, wasn't there? When you were a child, you failed. You either were a success or you failed, right? So the educational system wasn't about celebrating you as your own individual self, your own authentic self, right? The tribe is all about conform, fit in. It's all about fitting in and regurgitating what we impose on you. The real definition of education is to draw out the genius of the child that's already there, that you were born with this genius, but it gets buried under the conditioning field, right? From our educational system for sure. So instead of like drawing out education, pulling out, withdrawing your genius, how can we, this has to be our new educational system for the Cross of the Sleeping Phoenix, is how can we create this environment? Think of a child as a little flower, right? Can we create the right environment for this little flower to feel safe and to emerge and bloom as itself, instead of let's pound down this flower and let's make them all dandelions. That's the imposition. So you were a success when you were the best at conforming, right? So this is all the stuff we've got to let go of now. So look back to your early conditioning, right? So it's not about money. So that may be coming up in your mind because this is the program that we're under right now. It's the global propaganda, and it's coming from that neutrino field, right? It's not about the money. So if your mind goes like, well, if I just had more money, if I just know that that's your ancestors screaming, right? Screaming within you. Oh, if I just have more money, what about tomorrow? Right? Then all this will go away. It's not about the money. You have to remind yourself it's not about the money. It's about the ancestral fear. That's what it's really about. And that's what the ego and the mind are keeping you from accessing, right? You're always going to have a money problem, always going to have a money problem until you address this ancestral fear of failure, right? And really, it's about the fear of death. It's about the fear of our physical death. And remember that you're a spiritual being having human experiences. And yes, this body goes, right? It has an expiry date, a birth date, an expiry date. But you don't have a birth date. You don't even have a horoscope. You don't even have a name. You're an eternal soul having human experiences. But it's about facing this fear. That doesn't mean, okay, I know that, but it doesn't mean that this fear doesn't exist. So your job is to feel it, right? To feel it and then transmute it, right? So fear is just a frequency moving through me. I'm not going to let my mind interfere and go into fear and then create a story that it's really about I have no money and that's why I'm afraid. It's like, no, I have these ancestors inside me, and this is this ancient fear that I have to transmute. Okay, so also how to deal with the shadow of failure. You know, you can put this video on pause and write down these questions and explore them. Is to find a place in your life where you've been resisting change. Right? That 32, those damn ancestors, they don't want us to change because it worked for them in their time, but it's not going to work for us. We have to embrace change or we won't make it through, right? Into this new cycle. So we have to embrace change, and the tribe doesn't want to change. Where have you been stingy with yourself and others, right? Where have you been stingy, hoarding even your time and your energy and yourself, hoarding your resources, not sharing? That's also the 32. That's also tribal. What needs more of your investment, right? Who or what needs more of your investment in this time that we're in right now? And who needs less of your investment, right? This 42 that we're embracing is all about the future. Right? The 32 is all about what's going on right now at this time. The 32 and tribal consciousness is not connected to long-term vision whatsoever. It's about just like, I have to keep this body alive, right? I've got to deal with the emergencies that are right in front of me. There's no long-term vision. Okay. So, when what's worthy of your energy and your time and your attention too, right? Pay attention. Our attention is currency right now. And who's worthy of your energy and what's in decay, right? And what's alive. So what's dying in your life, right? What around you, you know, that there's no future for this. Well, stop investing your energy and your time and your money in it and start investing what's alive for me. Right? It's about feeling too, like what makes me feel alive right now in my life. And I'm going to invest more of my time, energy, and money into this. And then, okay, so you got those questions. And then if we look at the gift of detachment, because this is the 42. So this is what you want to embrace, right? The 42. This is where our soul wants us to go as a collective, is about embracing new experiences that are coming, right? So you have to look at your type because you want to look at your strategy, right? So if you're a generator, manifesting generator, a new experience is coming to you because you're a magnet, And I'm going to respond with a yes or no from my sacral, right? My sacral is going to tell me yes or no if this is correct for me. And if it's yes, then go for it, right? Go for it and trust. Also with this, and then for if you're a projector, then you wait to be recognized and then invite it, right? And reflector, you got to go through the moon cycle. And manifestor, you have to get permission and then you inform and then you initiate. Okay. So the other part is don't take life so personally. Like this is a big one for detachment. And this is an Aquarius quality too. We're entering the age of Aquarius, is detachment. So don't take life so personally. So what does this mean? This means that life is just happening. So imagine yourself, you're just watching a movie, right? I'm just watching a movie and this is what's called life, right? That I'm sitting back and I'm watching. These things are happening, right? But they come and they go. They don't last forever. This is the phenomenal world that my true essence is I'm observing all of this coming and going. So I'm not going to take it personally, right? This is where we get into big trouble. This is happening because that person was vindictive and they wanted to get back at me. And that's why they did this. And I need revenge and right. Or I did something wrong. I got to do something different and it's not correct for you. And then you're running around like a chicken with its head cut off. It's just to accept it. That's baseline consciousness right there, is acceptance. I'm not going to resist my experience. I'm having a human experience. I'm paying off karma. A lot of this is karmic. Just let it unfold, right? Remember that we're evolving through the emotional body. So what's coming up? That's my work. What's coming up? Okay, this ancestral fear is coming up. I'm just going to feel it, right? So it's to go into this space of like everything that I see is required and it's not going to last forever, right? The mind and the ego will try to get you, pull you into taking things personally. That creates way more suffering, right? So you can't listen to it. It's just like, this too shall pass. That's one of my favorite quotes from the Bible. And everything in life must come to an end, right? So that something new can be born, right? So we have this until January to embrace this 42. So things have to come to an end. The 42 is all about expiry date, right? There's an expiry date to everything. That something has to come to an end in my life. So that something new can be born. So bringing that in and surrendering to your life. That's watching the movie. I'm going to just surrender to my life. Everything is perfect. How do I know? Because it's in front of me. Even the world, take it to the world. I'm going to surrender to what's going on in the world. We're seeing the breakdown. The tents are being broken down now. All right. All this stuff, because we're hitting this iceberg in 2027. All of the across the planning, all those institutions are coming down, right? Are coming down. And then also see your life as part of a greater cycle for humanity. So you're part of this transition into this new 400-year cycle, the cross of the sleeping phoenix. You're at the tail end of the cross of planning. You're at the tail end of the Piscean age, right? In the Aquarian age, you're a transitional person. So your life is a big part of this book, right? The book, the story of humanity, to see your life like that. And in terms of money, if you think money's going to save you, I just want to remind people that all the institutions, right, like little g, and the educational system and the medical system and the police and the military, all that's going down, right? So that it can be rebuilt. And this is 2027, and this is what we're seeing, that just the decay, everything is crumbling. So this is the bargain. Remember, tribal consciousness is about the bargain. So the bargain's being broken down. So the tribe is you do this, right? You go to our schools and you get educated the way we want you to educate you, right? So that you fit in, and then we'll provide a job for you, right? And then we'll provide money for you, and you can exchange that for food and shelter and clothing and all your little entertainment to keep you entertained and happy. Well, all that bargain's breaking down, right? And our financial system is breaking down. So just a reminder, right? We got off the gold standard in 1971. That's when the notes were actually the money has no value in itself. You would exchange this note for your gold. Gold is what had real value. That got replaced in 1971, and then it turned into this petrodollar, and then the dollar was backed by oil, right? And then this is breaking down now with BRICS. And this is Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa so far that have joined together, and they're like, no, we're pulling away from this petrodollar. We don't, it's not a good deal for us. The bargain's breaking down. And we're seeing it trickle down to us, the common people, right? So through inflation, right? Groceries are more expensive, right? It's really the value of the money is changing. It's going down. The value of money is decreasing, and it will keep decreasing, right? So don't go into that state. These just is a few facts, right? Don't go into that old tribal mindset, which is, oh, this will keep me safe. No, it won't. Things are changing for the cross of the sleeping phoenix. So you want to get off the Titanic, right? And you want to embrace this new way, right? And this is about you being your own inner authority, not giving your power away anymore, not falling for any new bargains that are coming, because they won't be rooted in reality, right? They won't serve you. And then go to big G, right? Big G, stop worshiping little g, go to big G, and then be your authentic self. Be your authentic self is a must. And then go to what's real, right? What's real, what's authentic. So it's about jumping off here. And then when we get to the 55, remember I said the 37.1, I don't want to overwhelm people with too much information here, but when we get to the 55.6, this is about finding in 2027, this is about finding your allies. So find them now, your allies, and then these breakout societies will start to emerge, and right community. It's going to be a way different community than these old tribal communities. Okay. Okay. Yes, present day yoga. I'm just looking at some comments here, you guys. Present day says, I'm resonating with this feeling. Yes, because it's a global cycle. Fear of money is creating a holding pattern. So this is this conservation, right? That's the energy. Conserve resources, right? But if you go deeper, present yoga, you want to go to the fear, because that's really your work, is to go to the fear. And it's an ancestral fear of failure, right? But this is what the mind and the ego say. Conserve your resources, hold on, don't let go, and all that does is create a constriction, right? You want to go over here. It's about trusting in big G, not little g any longer, right? And go into love and grow and expansion. This is dead. 32, this is dead energy, right? On the south node, it's time to embrace this. This is expansion. Yeah. Okay. Yes, of course, we'll be leading with love in the new Sleeping Phoenix program. But you know what I want to mention too, because my sun essence is, and go back if you want to see a reading. I did Russell Brand's chart. I'm going to do Jordan Peterson soon. But my sun position is 8, right? And this is all about authenticity. It's all about authenticity. That's what I'm all about. That's my commitment, is to be my authentic self. And then I help, because my motivation is lead people to their authenticity, which is definitely what we need right now. But they did a study. I don't know if you've heard of this, that they measure the frequency emanating from people, this group of people. So they were able to measure anger, the frequency of anger. They were able to measure like sadness and depression, able to measure love, even love. And you know what? The highest frequency, the most powerful frequency that emanated off people, it wasn't even love. It was authenticity. Authenticity was the greatest, most powerful frequency that emanated off people. So that in itself is showing you the power of being your authentic self. And this is the time to do it. We have until 2027, where we're supported right now to be our authentic self. The first time in our human history where we're able to break away from tribal consciousness, collective consciousness, and really be ourselves, right? So that's the most powerful frequency. I found that really fascinating, but wasn't shocked either. It's like, yeah, of course, that makes sense. So keep in mind, October 14th, this starts my webinar series on the Cross of the Sleeping Phoenix Survival Guide, and we'll go deep into the details. And I've done the research. I'm in the middle of doing research right now, and it's stuff you can't find on the internet, right? I had to search high and low for this stuff, and I didn't get it off the internet per se, right? So that will be over 6 hours, and then meds, which is your meds, which are meditations, Kundalini yoga meditations, and plus you're in a group community for the whole time, for the 3 weeks. So you get to meet other people that are on this path of the Phoenix. So keep that in mind. October 14th, that starts, and then the 21st is the other one. But you're in the community forum, a private community forum, not Facebook, the whole time. And we'll go in deep in what we need to do to prepare for this time and to thrive during this time and what to expect. Okay? So take care of everybody and be your authentic self. If you leave with one message, it's like, I gotta be me, right? I'm committing to be me, not my ego, but my original self, that child self. I'm gonna be that child self again, okay? So namalo, everyone. Bye-bye.